If you cross the river, you will destroy a great empire. The oracle at Delphi spoke those words to Croesus, the richest king in the ancient world. Croesus heard exactly what he wanted to hear. He crossed the river. He destroyed a great empire, his own. This is the story of how an unknown king from southern Iran toppled a superpower, and how the superpower's own people helped him do it. Croesus ruled Lydia from his capital at Sardis, a kingdom in western Turkey controlling the richest trade routes between Greece and Asia. His wealth was legendary. The Lydians invented coinage, small lumps of electrum stamped with a royal seal. Croesus refined the system, minting pure gold and silver status. A stater, a gold coin, was roughly a month's pay for a mercenary. With that money, Croesus dominated the Greek cities along the Aegean coast. Ephesus, Miletus, Smyrna all paid tribute to Sardis. His army's backbone was heavy cavalry, armored lancers on horseback, the finest mounted fighters west of the Persian plateau, and when Croesus wanted more soldiers, he bought them. He commissioned Eurybates of Ephesus, a Greek agent, to recruit mercenaries with Lydian gold. Lydia appeared unassailable, rich, armed, and surrounded by subjects who had no choice but to obey. The ancient Near East in the mid-6th century BCE. Lydia controlled western Turkey from Sardis to the Aegean coast. The Halys River, modern Turkey's Kizilirmak, marked the old boundary between Lydia and the Median Empire. East of that line, the Medes had ruled from Ecbatana. South of the Medes, in an upland valley near the Persian Gulf, lay the Persian homeland, Anshan, the ancient name for the region where Cyrus was born. These were farming tribes and horse breeders, unremarkable until one man changed everything. Cyrus came from these farming tribes and horse breeders of Anshan. In barely 15 years, he rewrote the map. Around 550 BCE, he overthrew his own grandfather, Astyages, king of the Medes. Instead of destroying the Medes, Cyrus merged them with his Persians into a single imperial force. The Medes became partners, not subjects. This was new. And here's the family connection that made war personal. Astyages was Croesus's brother-in-law. When Cyrus overthrew Astyages, Croesus lost a family ally. An earlier generation had already fought over this exact boundary. Decades before, the Medes and the Lydians had gone to war. That war ended when a solar eclipse darkened the battlefield. Both sides read it as divine command to stop fighting. They set the Halys River as their border and kept the peace for a generation. Now Cyrus had shattered that old order. Croesus believed he had to act. He consulted the oracle at Delphi. We know what she told him. Croesus prepared for war, but his empire was already cracking. Eurybates, the agent sent to recruit Greek mercenaries, never recruited anyone. Instead, he contacted the Persians and offered to help them. Then, Miletus, the greatest Greek city in Asia Minor, birthplace of Thales, of philosophy, of rational inquiry, secretly sent messengers to Cyrus offering to defect. Croesus's own Greek subjects saw the coming war as their chance to escape Lydian control. The network of loyalty Croesus depended on was unraveling before the first battle. Betrayal explains who defected, but to understand why, we need to look at the man they were defecting to. Cyrus had something Croesus didn't, a reputation that preceded his armies. Cyrus was renowned for justice, fairness, and truthfulness. This wasn't charm. It was a strategic weapon. Consider the evidence. The Babylonians, rulers of the greatest empire in Mesopotamia, believed Cyrus was sent by their god Marduk to restore righteous kingship. We know this from the Cyrus Cylinder, a clay document recording his conquest of Babylon. The Jews, exiled in Babylon for decades, called Cyrus an agent of Jehovah. The prophet Isaiah names him directly, the only non-Jew in the Hebrew Bible honored as God's instrument. And the Greeks, Herodotus, writing a century later, portrayed Cyrus as admirably just, a ruler even his enemies respected. 3 separate civilizations, 3 different religions, 3 independent conclusions. Cyrus was something rare, a conqueror people wanted to surrender to. Voluntary submission became the hallmark of Persian expansion. Cities opened their gates, people switched sides, armies defected rather than fight. Contrast this with Croesus. His subjects weren't loyal, they were trapped. The moment a better option appeared, they took it. Reputation in the ancient world was empire. Croesus crossed the Halys River and marched east. The armies clashed somewhere in central Anatolia, near the ruins of the old Hittite capitals. The battle was inconclusive. Lydian armored lancers and Greek mercenaries fought Cyrus's horsemen and spearmen to a standstill. Greek historians later claimed Cyrus deployed camels to panic the Lydian horses. Camels spooking war horses is almost certainly a colorful embellishment, but the underlying point is real. Cyrus was tactically creative. After the battle, Croesus made his fatal decision. Believing he had checked Cyrus's advance, he withdrew to Sardis and disbanded his mercenary forces. He assumed the war was over for the season. Cyrus did not. With relentless speed and total secrecy, Cyrus pursued. He caught Croesus with a skeleton garrison, shattered what remained of the Lydian army, and captured Sardis. The richest city in the Western world fell because its king sent his soldiers home. This was the hinge of the entire war. After an inconclusive battle, Croesus faced 2 paths. He could maintain his forces, fortify his position, and prepare for a renewed campaign. That path offered deterrence, time to regroup, time to summon allies. Instead, Croesus chose the other path, retreat to Sardis and disband. He assumed his enemy would accept a draw. Cyrus never accepted draws. The lesson: misjudging an opponent's resolve can be more destructive than losing a battle outright. And so the oracle's prophecy came true in the cruelest way possible. Croesus did destroy a great empire, his own. The prophecy was technically accurate all along. The oracle never said which empire would fall. Croesus's error was interpretive. He heard great empire and assumed it meant Persia because he couldn't conceive of his own destruction. This is the ancient world's most famous case of confirmation bias, hearing what you want to hear because the alternative is unthinkable. And the Greek cities that defected to Cyrus, hoping for freedom, they traded Lydian overlordship for Persian overlordship. Freedom never came. Cyrus's conquest of Lydia was the first domino. It brought the Persian Empire to the shores of the Aegean and put Persia face to face with the Greek world for the first time. Within a generation, that contact would ignite the greatest military conflicts of the ancient Mediterranean: Marathon, Thermopylae, Salamis. The Greeks wanted freedom. Instead, they got a new master. And that master's empire would shape their world for 200 years,